Happy Sunday, y'all. This is one of my favorite parts of the weekend where I get to catch up on all the reading I've pushed off throughout the week. Here are a few of the things I'm reading this week and why I'm reading them, which I always find interesting to learn why people choose to read what they read, but I'm not leaving any opinions on the articles in case you end up reading some of these yourself. Plunder isn't an article, it's a book I started this week, and its premise is that private equity is detrimental to anything it touches or absorbs. My experience with private equity firms, which I've had a good bit now doing what I do for a living, I really wanted to dive into the world of PE beyond my experiential perspective. Did I miss something? I feel like I'm up to date on most things that are happening in AI, especially when it comes to OpenAI itself. Late checkout, they're not clickbaity, they never are. So gotta just dive in and see what did I miss, if anything at all. I never like things that have tons of logos on it anyway. Sometimes it's unavoidable when you're looking for something very specific, like this hoodie. I love this one. So I are on this kick for 2024 to find high quality clothing. The direction that clothing is going away from fast fashion to sustainable, long lasting, and of course probably more expensive, but you're buying something you'll have for multiple years, not a year. That's just my thought. I'm diving into this. You gotta be safe, right? Plagiarism is something that in the world of AI is going to be even more prevalent than it ever has before. We've taught our kids how to responsibly use ChatGPT as a tool, not as a crutch or a cheating mechanism, but in so many areas where AI is just improving at a faster rate than anybody could have ever predicted. It's a cat and mouse game. I don't know who's winning, I don't know who's losing, but it's interesting. I mean, it's fucking interesting. I love the community article. So this is Greg, who also owns Late Checkout. I've helped build a few very profitable communities in the last 2 years. And since it's a space I work in, live in, and seeing where it's developing, I want to keep up to date with as much information around it as possible. I have a feeling that in real life and online communities are about to merge. And Facebook has a pretty good grip on some of it, but paid communities for the win, man. I'm part of one, and I know a lot of people making serious progress in their professional life and even in some elements of their personal life are part of paid communities that are just doing excellent for them and their peers. I'm trying to live as long as possible, and anything that helps me understand what our understanding of the human brain is currently, man, I'm all over that. Betting against American democracy is both a frightening and not an unrealistic headline to read these days. I just want perspective on what this article and the people interviewed have to say. You free, boys? Have you heard anything about Ecuadorian soldiers storming prisons? Me neither. That's why I'm reading this one. My son graduates this year, my daughter in 2 years. I have no earthly idea what it's like to pay for college for my kids because I haven't been there yet, but I want to understand what the likelihood of them getting into what colleges are. What's the national perspective? What are some thoughts of people all over the ladder talking about for college tuition and fees? It's just an interesting article to a parent who's got kids going into college. This is frightening. We're having teacher shortages all over the map, and having a shortage in science teachers, you know, the ones teaching the scientific effing method, the first and last line of defense into a world that we're all been thrown headlong into of misinformation. The teachers I've met, the teachers I've loved, they're all fighting for one thing, our kids to have a future. And we just keep dismantling options for them as far as education goes, left and right. I read everything I can about education. It's literally the only investment that since recorded human history has paid off. My kids and their friends, they're not liberals, they're not progressives, they're untrusting of those terms and boxes, rightfully so, I think. This article is just relevant to my family and obviously to the future as always. I like to understand where kids are mentally, and whatever this perspective is, it's going to be one that's probably a lot different than the one I currently have. This guy's so happy to be on his walk. There's a lot more I'm reading as usual, but these are the ones I thought would be fun to share. Y'all have a fantastic Sunday evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.